A wave of changes has swept through the National Housing Corporation, and 3 employees were relieved of their duties in what has been described as a necessary restructuring effort. Minister for Housing, Honorable Richard Frederick, addressed the move in a press statement, clarifying that the positions were made redundant as part of a broader initiative to streamline operations within the NHC. The minister reassured the public that the individuals affected have been adequately compensated and that these changes are aimed at improving the organization's efficiency and better aligning it with the department's goals.
NHC is currently going through some restructuring. And insofar as the restructuring is concerned, certain positions became redundant. The occupiers of those positions invariably, if the positions are no longer available, we had to sever ties with those persons, but not before paying them over $520,000. One person got in excess of 200 and something thousand, 238,000.
Frederick explained that making the positions redundant was an essential part of streamlining operations at the NHC. He confirmed that the decision was made by a committee and emphasized that he took steps to ensure that the affected individuals received fair compensation for their service.
It was the Human Resource Department committee, that made recommendations, and the board went with the recommendations. It had nothing to do with me. But one of the things I ensured, I said, before those persons go home, ensure you'll have money to give them every penny to which they are entitled. And that was done. They were not terminated, they were not fired, but the positions were made redundant, and those positions no longer exist at NHC.
The issue has since been brought before the Labour Commission for further review and discussion. Minister Frederick provided details on the specifics of this dialogue.
I can only report based on conversation I had with my senior members at NHC. The conversation centered around whether it centered around the adequacy of notice, not the lawfulness or unlawfulness of the severance of ties between NHC and the individuals. Because if you are running an organization and you have a position, for example, called implementation officer, but you're implementing nothing. I'm not saying that exists in that. I'm being hypothetical. I want to make that clear. And you are implementing nothing. Then the whole post of implementation officer becomes redundant. That name, it does not make sense. So once that position no longer exists, then invariably the whole of that office has to be made redundant. And it is what happened at NHC.
The restructuring of the National Housing Corporation has sparked some discussions. Minister Frederick's reassurances on fair compensation and a streamlined process may have calmed many concerns, but the National Workers' Union, the same union at the center of the First National Bank strike, has issued a statement in support of the workers. For Choice News Now, I am Darrell Lionel.